Guys, it's 1 o'clock. So I started recording. We're officially winter camp chats now.
Okay.
Looks like Roger's on the phone. Someone must be trying to get in.
Yeah.
Golden screen, come on in. Do I leave it on until?
So Marion, just before you got in, we were talking about winter camp friends who have passed away and recognizing them at the next camp.
Okay.
You can either say got it or whatever the other option is.
Right.
The other option might be
So my first big faux pas of the day, when I mistakenly renamed Shirley as Carl Noble, and then I couldn't figure out who it was, so I took them off the call.
Okay.
So she called me just now and said, "Hey, you took me off."
You booted
How
her?
rude! How rude!
Yeah.
And now she's got to
So
try to
Shirley's
get
gonna
back
get
on
back
again.
on. So who is Marcy?
Gina
Okay,
Rao. How are you?
I'm
How's
good. How are
everyone?
you?
Good.
Fine.
I'm gonna rename you. There you go. You're,
Thank you. I don't know how to change it on my end.
Oh, you don't do it on your end. They just have to do it on
Oh.
yours.
We have the
Okay.
magic.
Okay. How do I mute myself?
Star 7, star 6.
Star 6.
Star 6.
If you're on the phone, yeah.
Oh, I'm not on the phone. I'm on the video.
If you're on the computer, then you have
Base
to
bar sometimes works.
do space bar or Alt A.
12489053767.
Shirley, is that you?
You are here. So you can
4-8.
be able to make them back.
Hey, Shirley, did you just come back in?
No,
Who's the
Someone just came
248?
back in.
Somebody just-
248-905-3767.
That's me, Linda.
Ah, Linda.
no,
Hi
Shirley
there.
will be a 765 number,
Okay.
Okay.
but she's trying to get back on her
Everybody.
computer, I think.
Hi, Linda. Hi there.
We can do a roll call and we can say who's on the call. So right now,
You start, Roger.
I'm going to read down through the list. So myself, Roger Bossi, Kathy Koenig, and then we have Gina Rowell, Henrietta Miller, Linda Brown, Marion Ward, Art Turner, Cynthia Cooper, Jack Brewer, looks like Marianne Robinson, I think.
Yes.
And Phyllis from Port Huron, Gwen Casey, Carl Noble, Margaret Honeyegger, Wayne Lepiors, Cheryl Bradshaw, so she's in our district. And let's see, Lindsay Levere and Janie Muirhead. Who did I forget? The names jump around a little bit. So
Rosemary Facilla.
Rosemarie, how could I forget you?
Oh, yes.
Jack Brewer, I said, and Art
Yeah.
Turner. So hopefully we'll have Shirley back. She always has a hard time getting in, and here I kicked her off. So I had asked Art to start us off with a devotion, and I'm sure we'll have people joining, but maybe Art, if you wanted to give us a devotion, that'd be wonderful to start off.
Okay. That we mentioned as we're getting started, the fact that we do lose people to death each year, and we don't have a good way of remembering them. At camp, oftentimes at the first dinner, we would have a time of silence, or time when everybody would name a person who had died, and we would then ask a prayer for them. And that we had Mike Struan as some of you knew who had been our man at our medic office or at the red desk, has died. I was trying to remember if he died before our winter camp meeting or when he died. But
before.
so we could have that information. But I think that's a good point. If sometime during at least our annual meeting, ask people to have some time when we name and list the people who have gone ahead of us with the Lord, and so we can remember them in a time of prayer. So that at this time we were gathered at this strange connection of together and yet and not together, scattered across the state, as it were, and I'm not sure if we have some beyond the state here, but yet we're in the palm of God's hand, that the God created the universe, and we're discovering that the universe is bigger and bigger than we can imagine, than scientists have ever imagined in the past, and yet all of it is in God's creation, part of God's creation, and we are in God's hands. And so our mere statewide gathering here is just a tiny portion of God's presence, and yet we are gathered around by the telephone Zoom connection we have here, in the bond of fellowship, of voices, of memories, of shared story, of winter camps past and winter camps in the future that we're looking forward to. And so we gather here this day with the bond of love, of fellowship, and of God's creation and the miracle of Zoom. So let's begin now with a word of prayer. Lord God, we gather here in each other's presence, bound together by this Zoom meeting, and yet also bound by your love that you have for us, and that you've given each one of us a special, unique abilities and talents, that you make us who we are, and with the unique abilities that we have in our personalities. And we ask you to help us focus upon who we are and who we can be, upon the creatures that we can be, the love that we can show, the caring that we can show through lions, and the caring we show just through being in camp with one another. Let it all be filled with your love and with your spirit. All these things we ask in your name and for your sake. Amen.
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 Excuse me, this is Linda. Has Faith calling in yet? Faith Meadows?
No.
I'm going to call her on my cell phone. She may have forgotten. She said she was going to call in, but I'll call her.
Okay.
Don and Judy just called me and confirmed the number, so they're going to call in.
And Susan Radke's working on getting in. I just texted her a link so that she could click on it.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any of her magnifiers to read our emails, so hopefully the link I sent her will work.
Whoops. 248545015 has joined the meeting.
Has Shirley gotten
Yes,
back
Don.
in yet?
Oh, it's Don and Judy.
Hey,
Excellent.
Don, Judy?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Judy. Hi, how are you? Good. It's Margaret.
Margaret.
Margaret. Thank
Here.
you. Thank you, Marion.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks, Marion.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't know why Don thought you had to repeat that one number. I kept telling him, don't do that.
No. Okay.
Well.
That's okay.
Why? Because the numbers that they gave me are the right numbers. Well, let me give you the right numbers. You ready? Let me hold on. Let me call you.
She's trying to get Faith in.
Did
Faith
Shirley
Meadows.
come back on? Does anybody know?
Shirley?
Not
Evidently
yet.
not.
Roger, do you want to call her back and see how she's
Call her
doing?
back.
'Cause you
Yeah, I'll call her.
bumped her.
I would call her to see how she's doing.
We have somebody whose name shows up as Dang It All.
What?
I don't know what that
Oh.
is, but it says dang and a whole bunch of swear looking letters.
Mm-mm-mm.
CHGYFGFYGY.
We'll have to see when they start talking who it is.
Do this. Why don't you hang up and I'll leave it on this voicemail. So hang up for a minute.
I done got mad because you can't get in.
Yeah, Linda's trying to get Faith in, so. Her computer's not working right, so I'm going to call and leave this on her voicemail, she told me. So go ahead, I'm still trying. Hey, put yourself on mute, Linda. Oh, okay. Yeah. Everybody's doing fine?
We are now.
As fine as can be expected.
I got a question. What happened before you weren't fine?
I keep dialing that number, and he just wouldn't listen to me. I said,
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Susan. Glad you made it in.
Yeah, thanks.
I got
Oh, Shirley's in.
This Janie.
Oh, hi, Janie.
Susan's in. Shirley's not back yet.
Oh, okay.
I got one question. Is the code, ID code and everything gonna change again?
This is the one we've always used for winter camp chats, but we used a different one for winter camp
Oh.
because capacity for winter camp, we wanted to make sure we had additional options and features. But this is the one we always use for chats.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm like, cause when I got the text, I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. What? I'm like, they done changed the code, the ID code on me again. What's going on? I said, that's too many numbers. I gotta write this stuff down. My brain don't work like that.
Kathy, what you're saying is this number we have for today will work for all the upcoming meetings, right?
Right.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay. So the other one, with the other number, with the one, whatever it was, and
The other one was special for February 5.
Number, it's the one that's
This is the
always
monthly number.
Oh, okay.
And the one we had for February 5th was different.
Yep.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The one for February 5th, that's
different.
Yeah, that was special.
Special.
Okay.
Just for that day, you say, Janie.
I'm gonna sit on this side of the world and just be quiet, okay?
You all right. Yeah. Yep, you just missed a lovely prayer from Art Turner.
I was on here. I was on mute.
Oh, sorry.
I was on mute. I was here. I never did
Okay.
leave.
Like
Mr. Turner was very good. Thank
you.
you.
Still don't know who DANGYFGF is.
They haven't said anything yet. They're just.
No, they're still silent.
Can you ask them to unmute maybe?
Oh, there we go. All right, I'm gonna pop up an ask to unmute box. And so it'll be a little box on your screen that says, would you like to unmute? Okay. If you see that little box on your screen, you're the one who we want to figure out what your name is.
About to go back on mute anyway. I'm still here.
So Shirley is trying to get back on. She's trying to get her, trying to go to a different browser. So.
Really broke her.
Way to go, Roger.
I know. I really I told her. I told everybody I screwed up big time.
So let's go ahead, Roger, and let's go over what today's on today's agenda.
Okay. So today's what I thought we could do is I'd like to talk about see what you guys thought about the virtual camp that we had recently. And, you know, what was good about it, what was bad about it, what could we do better if we have to do it again. And then we were going to talk about, so for next, you know, we're planning on next year's camp, hopefully in person. You know, we'll keep our fingers crossed that we finally get rid of this COVID thing.
Amen to that.
So, you know, do you have suggestions as to activities or different things we might do at camp? next year. And then, and then of course, a lot of you know that we've been asking if you're interested in being part of a virtual Lions Club of winter campers. And so then we can talk about that towards the end of the call, just, in case somebody's not really interested in the conversation, they can drop off or, whatever. So I thought that's kind of the way we would go with the conversation today. I do want to say, Tyrone let me know that he's not going to be here because he's rehearsing for his concert tomorrow. And it is going to be on Facebook tomorrow from 5 until 6 p.m. So put that in your calendars.
Do we have a link for that? Is it just on his normal personal Facebook page?
I think it's on his normal Facebook page.
Okay.
And I don't know how, if any of you are on Facebook, you probably would be able to find him because you'd know how to navigate around. For those who aren't on Facebook, I'm not sure how to tell you to find him.
All you would need to do is go when you're on your Facebook, go to the very top where it has the magnifying glass and type in his name.
Yeah, what if you can't
depending
see
on
the
his
magnifying
account-
glass?
I'm going to post a link here to the chat in a second that you guys can copy paste. I don't know. Can you copy paste out of the chat?
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Just email
We'll
it.
email it out. We'll email it out later.
Email the
But
link.
it
That's
depends if he's
easiest
got
for him.
if he has his Facebook page publicly unknown, then yeah, you can see it. But if it's privately known, you'd have to friend him in order to see his post.
Oh, he's public.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Otherwise, forget it. Too much hassle.
So the first question I've got is for those of you who were at the virtual camp this year, did anybody not get their gift card? Good.
Has everybody spent their gift card?
I got
No,
mine. Mine's in my purse.
To cash them now.
I gave mine to my daughter because she always be taking the grandkids to Wendy's, so I gave mine to my daughter.
That's
Mine's
all right.
in my purse, waiting for me and my boyfriend to go out on lunch one day.
Well, I've been to
used
Myers
mine.
for a
That
couple
was-
of times and I
that
still
was
got money on mine.
I needed.
Good. And Wayne, who got missed last year, got his. He got his too. So
Yep.
I was certainly glad when you called me and said you got your card, Wayne. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
The mail did a better job this year. Last
Yes,
year
yeah.
It sure did.
we lost a few of them.
And
last
thank you,
year.
Roger.
I think most people got theirs within a couple of days, actually, of me
Yeah.
sending them out.
Thank you so much.
Thank
That
you.
was good.
Somebody joined.
Yeah, a camera just popped up. He's named admin and I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Roger, you know his name.
Oh, that's David Sterneman, right?
Yes,
Yep.
Hi, Dave.
How you doing, David?
he's muted.
Chinese Crescent is joining us.
Sorry.
Her
My
dog.
Chinese Crescent is joining
Oh.
us.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I've got my cat Monty on the back of my chair, so he's listening in. So so what kind of things, so if we think about the camp that we did this year, what worked well for you and what was useful for you on the call that we had on the 5th of February? And do you have any questions from any of that we can follow up on that we haven't already?
Go ahead, Glenn.
The one thing, this is Rosemary, the one thing that I think we need to do if we do this again is for the hosts to have the ability to mute and unmute people and have people raise their hands because there's too much interruption, during different things. And a lot of people didn't even get their questions answered because other people were interrupting. I think that would be a really good thing to do because even when Tyrone was playing, we had people, talking during his performance, and that's really distracting.
It's interesting that you said people were talking during Tyrone because the only thing I heard during Tyrone was people singing along.
No, we had
That's
people
all I heard.
making comments and all kinds of things. I didn't like
Yeah,
that.
you did.
Smoothly.
Huh.
I think
Okay.
everybody,
Yeah.
everything went smoothly.
it's best that we just have people raise their hands if they have something that they need to ask or that they need to say so that they actually get recognized and have the opportunity to speak without being interrupted by, 3 or 4 people at a time.
I'm sorry, I disagree because I think everything went really good this time. I think everybody was very courtesy.
Well, I heard from other people that they couldn't even get a word in edgewise, so.
Well, there was a lot of times when we have people raising hands, we can have 4 people queued up with their hands raised, and they don't know that they're 4th in line. So they just think they're being ignored. So it's really hard on a Zoom call to communicate that we know someone's trying to speak.
Well,
That's
yeah, if
common
you
even
see
if you're
that-
not blind. But when you're blind, you can't see the other hands.
Yeah, but as the host, can't you say, okay, so-and-so's 4th in line?
But I'd have to
so-and-so 3rd in
interrupt.
line?
I'd have to interrupt you to say, oh, there's another hand. There's another hand. We're up to 3, we're up to 4, we're up to 5. So we wait for the person
But
who's
yeah, when
speaking.
but I mean, as the host, you can, when one person is speaking, you can just wait until that person's done, say, okay, we have, and you can start out saying, look, we're gonna have people just raising their hands, so be patient, let me get back to you. People don't want to take turns. I don't know, because it gets too confusing. But
Well,
that's
I don't know.
just
I
my
mean,
opinion.
how many people raise your hands? How many people have trouble raising their hands? I mean, because a lot of people have trouble with the buttons to find them on their phone or on their keyboard. Oh, and there's a lot of people muted right now. So there might be people who are trying to answer the question who aren't answering the question. So Marianne Robinson is muted, Gina's muted, Janie's muted, Lindsay's muted, Cheryl's muted, Susan's muted, Linda's muted. So if you guys want to jump in, you'll have to unmute yourself. And I always forget on the phone.
It's Alt A on the computer, space
You guys
bar.
are on the phone.
This is Henrietta. Why can't we, when you first come on, give each person a number, and then it'll be easier for each person to be able to talk. If you say number 1, we're talking to you, and number 1 be able to speak. Then once number 1 is finished, and if there's any comment, then the next, you add on, see what it is. Then you go to number 2. Then everybody have a number once they come on the line. Make sure everyone has a number.
Well, we've got names.
Okay, well, you can use names.
Yeah. But what I was saying is that there's a lot of times people don't know how to raise their hand, or they don't know that their hand is already up, because the hand is a visual. And if you can't see that your hand is up, how do you know your hand is up?
When you do it on the computer, I don't know about on the phone, but I know if I do the command to raise my hand, it'll say hand raised. And then when I take it down, it'll say hand down.
But everybody ain't on the computer.
Well, I don't know.
that's what I was
I don't
gonna
know how
say.
people do it on the phone, but that's what it says for me.
If you are on a landline phone, to raise your hand, it's *9. If you're on a Mac, it's Option Y. If you're on a PC, it's Alt Y.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Henrietta, you're on a phone. Can you raise your hand and see if your phone tells you? So if you do a *9 to raise your hand, does it tell you that you raised your hand?
Let me see. *9, you say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nope, they don't tell me anything.
Your hand's not up. Try doing it again.
Okay.
All right, Janie's
Well,
got
I'm
her
on a
hand
house
up.
phone. Would it still tell me?
Yeah, when I came off of mute and I pressed *9,
Oh.
it said your hand is raised.
There we go.
Now
Henrietta.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, mine's dead.
Hey, you guys, this is exactly what we're saying. Too many people talking at once. Henrietta,
My bad.
just Henrietta. When you raised your hand, did your phone tell you your hand is raised?
Yes, it did.
Okay, and then if you do *9 again, did it tell you it went down?
Yes, it says my hand has been lowered.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mine do say that too. This is
Okay.
Marion Ward, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Some phones do say it and some phones don't.
So it tells you when your hand goes up. So you know that you're waving your hand in the back of the classroom. but you don't know that 3 other
Right.
people have their hand up.
Right.
So we can
Okay,
try
that
and
makes
use
sense to
hands
me.
more, but it's still a matter of not knowing that, you know, how many people you're waiting for. So we can try and use hands more.
Yeah, because mine says hand is raised, and then when you press R9 again, it says your hand is lowered or either down.
Well, when the host lowers the people's hands, it'll tell you that your hand is lowered as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of times if I call on somebody, they start talking and I just go ahead and put their hand down so that they don't have to do *9 while they're talking.
No. But then you can mute them again, and then that when they're done, and then you can call on the next person who has a raised hand.
And that's the thing about Zoom.
Yeah, I was
is
just checking mine to see if it worked.
I can mute people, but I can only send a request to unmute. I can't actually unmute somebody. They have to press the OK button if I send a request to unmute.
Yep, that's okay.
So it'd be nice if I could mute and unmute, but everybody has to unmute
Oh,
themselves.
so I am still with.
So people have to find their own buttons to unmute. Okay, so that was the first thing. Try to use hands more. Phyllis said she thought everybody was pretty courteous. Who else do we have feedback from?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Hi, David.
Hi. I thought overall, I agree with what the other guys have been saying in terms of the too much speaking, but I like the couple of new things that you guys did, which were talking about the history of the camp where winter camp is held at, and we watched a little bit of that video that was done by one of the other Lions. And I also like the section where they talked about the Lions clubs. I like that section. And I thought the craft was cool. I found it more easier than the craft that we did at the first virtual winter camp. Probably because I've got shorter fingers than most people. So that one took me a little bit to work on.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Thanks to Kathy for coming up with that.
Yeah, I like that. I like the wind chime. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
That was fun.
Does everybody have them hanging up somewhere?
Yeah, mine is. Or sorry, go on.
I'm gonna hang mine in my window.
Well, Marion has her hand up.
Okay, I liked about the technology they had. Overall, on the 5th of February, it went well. It really, really went. This time I really enjoyed it because everybody wasn't talking all at the same time. And I mean, it was just conductive pretty good.
All right, cool.
Okay.
I have my wind chime hanging up. It's outside on our deck by our barbecue.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, because of the metal, it's possible it'll rust, but sometimes that just adds more character. But if you want to keep it from rusting, you can spray it with some spray polyurethane and like a clear coat.
Okay.
If you want to keep it exactly the same, but like I said, sometimes the rust will give it more character.
Miss Kathy. You know what I thought about doing with mine? My Nana likes a certain type of color green. I thought about getting some spray paint and spray painting my Nana's green.
There you go.
Good idea.
There you go. Out by the grill, make them pretty colors.
Mm-hmm.
Have a rainbow.
Roger, did you ever get, or wait, Linda was helping Faith. Linda's still muted. Did we ever, I don't see Faith on here, so they might still be working on that. Roger's on the phone helping somebody. Okay. What else do we have? Anything else people liked or disliked?
I don't know. There wasn't nothing to dislike.
Real good.
This is Rosemary, and I did like the history of the camp as well. I thought that was well done.
Excellent.
Yes.
Did you go out onto YouTube and watch the full video, the full interview?
Yes, I did.
Good. It was, I edited that down. Roger interviewed with him, and because he's getting older, he was repeating himself and telling some of the same stories multiple times. So I edited it to try and make it a single story. So
I like when Tyrone played the piano in the talent show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was nice.
Speaking of Tyrone, I checked his Facebook account and I just typed in Tyrone Hamilton and it popped right up. So he's apparently public on the Facebook.
Okay.
And I emailed a link to both Roger and Rosemary, a link to his Facebook page. So, but I don't see an announcement on there about the concert, but I only looked back a couple posts. Oh, we've got a hand. Janie is waiting in line.
Yeah. Dang, what was I gonna say? Oh Lord.
Welcome to the club.
Kashana.
Okay, I'll take it down till I remember what I'm gonna say.
Kashana Graham.
Okay. So Janie's thinking. Art, did you start to say something else that you enjoyed?
Well, I enjoyed the part on the history of the camp. There is a series of charts on the wall in the fellowship hall there, the large hall where we have the bingo and the talent show with stories of the camp and its history there. But having it done verbally and having the stories told was very good.
Good. Janie's back.
I remember what it was. When I go on YouTube, what do I do? Type in Winter Camp for the Blind, or what do I do?
Yeah, Winter Camp for the Blind, but I can send you a link if you want a link to the, we can include that in today's minutes again. Do you do email?
I don't remember what it was, but I'll just go ahead and
because I've tried just searching for Winter Camp and you get all kinds of weird things. You actually have to type Camp for the Blind.
Oh, you do have my you could send it to me like in the text message type thing.
Sure.
Like, yeah, you can send it to me that way.
Send YouTube link.
Then I just click on it.
Yep. There'll be a list of albums to choose from, or movies to choose from.
Okay.
Right.
This is Linda. Did I get back in?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But I kept hitting *7 because initially they said if you want to unmute yourself, hit *7. So I kept doing that. And then I said I'd go ahead and try *6. That's what we have to do at our church, and it worked with *6.
Yep, someone may have misspoke. It's *6 for the mute, unmute, and *9 for hand raise and lower.
Raise and unraise, yep.
Oh, we've got another phone number out here.
Yep.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Who is 517-581-0325?
It's me, Kathy. It's Bea.
All right.
Hi, Bea.
Hi, Bea.
Okay.
Hi, Bea.
Hi, Bea.
Right. Now she's got a
I
name.
had to work.
All right, that's all right.
Linda, did Faith get on?
She said that she kept trying, but she said for some reason when she tried to put the ID in, it would stop at 6 or whatever. I don't know. She just couldn't get in. She said she was tired of trying.
Gotta be fast.
Huh.
Sorry?
Do you know what kind of device she was trying to connect with? A regular phone versus?
I'm not sure. I didn't ask her.
Okay. Sometimes it's easier to just click on a link, but if she's on an old-fashioned phone where she has to type in all the numbers, that's the one that's the biggest pain in the butt. Or the finger.
I think Faith is.
Yeah.
I think Faith is pretty computer savvy, but
I didn't have a problem getting in. I just had to put in the passcode twice.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Last 4-digit number, I just put that one in twice, and it just let me right on in.
Yay.
I also enjoyed the Bible study by Mike Gino.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was
Oh, yeah.
really good.
Nice. Sure he'll like
I
hearing that.
enjoyed the whole thing.
Okay.
I enjoyed the whole thing. This Janie, I enjoyed the whole thing.
Excellent. What about the time? Like the amount of time? I mean, 1 p.m. till 6:30 is kind of a long day, but did it feel like it flowed okay?
I was okay
Yeah,
with it.
fine.
I didn't have any
It was fine with
problem.
me. I ain't
I
had
think
nothing
it
to
was
do no
fine,
how,
yeah.
so what the heck?
That was great.
All right.
It was fine with me. I ain't have nothing to do no way, so hey.
Okay, good.
Kept me company.
So now, when we go back to live camp, hopefully next year,
Yeah, hopefully it'll be next
is
year.
there anything in particular that you remember us doing in the past that maybe we haven't done recently? Or just anything that you really like about live camp that you want to make sure we include?
I can't wait to play bingo.
Bingo.
Real bingo, okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
This is Rosemary.
Yep.
And I like, one time they brought in the petting zoo, and I'd like to see that again. That was kind of fun.
Okay, let's see what we can do.
That sounds like fun.
Now, do you remember what your favorite animals were?
I think the rabbits.
Okay.
I can't remember what else they brought, but the rabbits kind of stick with me.
Okay.
Snake, of
That way
course.
when we-
They were
that way
all
when we-
little animals that we could pet, and that was cool.
Okay, that way when we reach out, if the rabbit guy isn't available or whatever, and if he thinks about bringing sheep versus goats versus, but those are bigger and harder to transport. It's a lot easier.
Like
to put
maybe
a rabbit-
lambs, smaller animals like lambs or something like that, not big sheep. That would be too hard.
Okay, so put small animals.
Yep. Because the petting zoo had all the small animals. They didn't have any large animals.
Okay.
I don't wanna mess
Sometimes
around with
there's
no
some
snakes.
petting zoos that come around like to do school presentations, and they'll include like a sloth and a snake and things like
Yeah,
that.
stuff like that. That'd be cool.
Okay.
A bird.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Maybe a chicken.
What
Oh,
about the
Cynthia's babysitting. I
Yeah,
have to mute her.
that's my little friend.
Oops, I muted her. Just as she started to tell us it was a grandkid.
At least
What
you
about
didn't
the
throw off like I
the
did
ca-
Shirley.
Yeah.
the people that do the canes, this Janie, are they when we
Oh,
do the
yeah.
live camp
Cane
again
repair. Yep.
about the canes? Yeah.
Okay. Can you? Henrietta has her hand up when Janie's done talking. Go ahead,
I'm done.
Janie.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about yeah. That's why I'm talking about the canes. You know, when they came out from, I guess, from Battle Creek, did
Yeah.
the canes. Yeah.
Okay. Cane repair. Henrietta.
Okay, what about the birds? Little birds.
The bird listening.
Yeah, like the ones that talk.
When we go out, when we hike through the snow out to the cabin and listen to the birds.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
little birds. Yeah.
Yeah, I like doing that.
Or when we went to the cabin where all the birds were, and you could sit outside with a little cloth over you, and little birdies come and sit on you.
Oh.
We have some good pictures of that, Rosemary.
That was fun.
You sitting out there, having birds sitting on your shoulders and things.
Yep.
I don't know about that one. I'm
They
afraid
don't
of
bite.
birds.
They don't bite. They're
got
very
teeth.
well behaved little birds.
I enjoyed when the Battle Creek Church came the couple years ago, the first year that I went in person.
The choir.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah.
Well, they've done that. You know, they had come out several years prior to us having them out, and they really love doing that. They just really like doing that a lot.
Okay.
Even in bad weather, they like coming out to the camp to sing. So everybody that sings loves to sing. So
Roger,
Yeah, that's cool.
this is
all the other
Margaret.
day. Hi, Margaret. Yes.
I did my first cross-country skiing and my first ride on a snowmobile at winter camp.
Okay.
that was back probably in 1996, 7.
1990 something.
Yeah. And all I can say is winter camp was a joy for me every year, and I have no complaints.
That's great to hear.
Another activity that would be fun that we did one time was snowshoeing as well.
We actually can do that now. We kind of the cross country skiing, the equipment that they have is in really bad shape, and so
Okay.
we started doing some snowshoeing the last time we had camp, and Gina did some snowshoeing, and I'm trying to think who it was that went with you, Gina, but anyway, we had a couple of you guys.
Great.
Years ago, we did the cross country. I used to bring my own cross country ski stuff if I knew they were going to do it. So
We could do it. We just didn't have any equipment.
Yep.
But
snowshoeing would be fun.
Don't throw your old skis away, because my brother had a pair up overhead in his garage and gave them to a neighbor from Ohio who sanded them down and varnished them and made a shelf in his cabin and has pictures of the family on them.
Oh. Well, I don't intend to get rid of my cross country skis. Thank you.
Well, I bet if the camp had skis that they were going to dispose of at some time or another, give them that idea for someone to use.
Well, they might do that. They might use them for an art project, but maybe they'll use them as bonfire starter.
Yeah, that's a good thing too sometimes.
All right, we have three hands. We have 3 hands. Oh, who's that?
Faith Meadows finally made it in after about 100 tries.
Yay!
All right.
All right. Glad to hear you, Faith.
So we have 3 people queued up with their hands right now. We've got Carl, Gina, and Don and Judy. Carl's been up for a little bit now. Let's see what Carl's got.
I want to butt in on
He's gonna have to unmute himself. *6.
Tap your screen. On the bottom over here, those arrows, the dots, tap the dots. No,
Carl, could you unmute yourself, Carl?
Tap. No, wait, see where it says raise.
All right, well, Carl looks for his unmute, his *6. Let's have Gina go. Gina's also muted.
But then you have to.
The race, who can unmute first? There we go.
I just wanted to follow up with what Roger said about the snowshoeing. Yeah, that was fun. A different experience indeed. Was concerned about a lake being nearby, but I believe that was Tanya that was with me.
Okay.
That we did that, but yeah, I would definitely like to see that and participate in that again in the future.
Nice. Okay.
The other thing that we did was John Kerner brought out a 4-wheeler because we haven't had enough snow to do snowmobiles. And so John brought a 4-wheeler, which was enjoyed by a number of campers, taking some rides around the camp. So
I was going to say,
we'll do that again for sure.
I was going to say I like doing that when I went with John and another camper. I went for I think it was 2 rides.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to see that again.
Okay, we have Don and Judy, and then Cynthia, and then B.
And then Carl's unmuted now. So Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a question. I like going ice fishing. First time I went, and I caught the first fish. So there was a little one, but I was happy to get one.
Wow.
Ice fishing.
Oh, I remember when we did the ice fishing too. That was fun.
Oh, that goes back a ways.
Yeah, it does.
All right, thanks, Carl. Don and Judy?
Okay, I remember, for a number of years, they had the horse and wagon with Rob. There were 2 Belgian horses, and we had the hay wagon, and
I was hoping that maybe possibly they could get a hold of a different person, maybe with horses and
We had that last
repeat it.
year. Well, not last year, but 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yep. So they're still around, so hopefully we can get them again.
We have a new guy that does that, and hopefully we can get him back next year.
Oh, very good. Oh, very good. Thank you.
Hey, Roger, I think you got Shirley on the line, Fire Tablet.
Shirley. Where do we see her at?
Fire Tablet?
I hear her
I don't see Fire Tablet.
right down here at the bottom.
Way down?
I got her on the phone. I got her on the
Oh, she's on page. I didn't realize we'd gone to page 2.
Fire Tablet.
Whoop, she just left the meeting.
I'll rename you, and well, I can't do it now because I'm not the host, so I can't even kick you off again.
We took away his power. Kidding. No, only one person can have the magic wand to do the renaming. And so.
Yeah, the Fire Tablet just left.
Yeah, when Roger gets busy on the phone helping people, he hands me the magic baton. Cynthia Cooper and B are still waiting with their hands up. Cynthia Cooper.
I would like for them to make homemade ice cream in the basement like they used to do years ago. And then sometimes bring in speakers on different topics, a couple speakers about different topics.
Homemade ice cream. So like the speakers, was that during the afternoon or? What sort of topics?
Well, different things,
Well, what's your favorite topic? If we were going to do it again, so kind of like we did the virtual winter camp where we had somebody talk about technology and talk about Lions history. So just a talk on anything.
Yeah, just in-person camp, either or,
Okay.
And then I mentioned when they used to make the homemade ice cream. I don't know if anybody knows how to do it now, but down in the basement,
Well, there's actually
the health department stopped that.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, well, there's modern ways to do homemade ice cream instead of using the old churn style. They have these things that are like I don't know if you're familiar with a gerbil ball, kind of like the size of a soccer ball, and you can make homemade ice cream with these balls where you shake it up, and it turns the cream into ice cream.
Or you can just get the regular, ice cream machines.
Well, but the ball's more fun, interactive.
True.
Yeah.
That'd be like a slumber party. Okay, so let's see. We still have B with her hand up.
I was just going to suggest we might want to check with Ski for Light to see if they have skis we could borrow for winter camp. If anyone's involved with that.
Okay. B suggests borrowing skis. It's funny. There's a few pairs in my parents' garage that haven't been used in 30 years. I don't know. I'm sure they probably are. They probably just need some wax or something. It's also a matter of whether the shoes fit people too.
Right.
B, do you know people who have cross-country skis?
No, I was suggesting if anyone's involved with Ski for Light, maybe we could check with them to see if they have any skis available.
Light. Okay. All right.
Were you able to
fire? All right, and that's a pretty good list. Pretty good list. And anything else? Pros and cons?
The one that was on top of yours, that was mine.
This is Janie. I got a question.
Yeah.
Is the price still going to stay the same?
That's the
Or
goal.
Going up there.
Provided we keep getting sponsorships, the goal is to keep the price the same. Because there's also
Linda. I have a question. Is it possible to have winter camp sometime like in the fall or in the summer?
Maybe.
Well, we have
In
summer
fact-
camp for the blind up in Muskegon.
Yep.
But
So Linda,
the one that, well, I'm talking about winter, well, like,
at different
I
time
like the
of
winter
year.
camp because it's only like the weekend. I think the one in Muskegon is longer, isn't it?
No, it's
No.
only weekend.
On the
It's
weekend. Oh, is it?
Friday,
I didn't know.
Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
winter camp.
Only one that's longer is the one in Echo Grove.
The Salvation
Oh,
Army
okay.
camp or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
one
the
thing that
Salvation
came,
Army camp.
one thing that came to my attention recently is Bear Lake Camp up in Lapeer hosts their, or has their facility available for other camps. And so we could host winter camp at Bear Lake Camp if we wanted to do something that's on the Detroit side of the state, but it's still a 3-hour drive, 2-hour drive, depending on where you're starting.
Well, from Muskegon, it's a 3.5-hour drive.
Yeah.
Right. But no, I was just saying if we were looking for something on the Detroit side of the state as opposed to the West Michigan side.
Well, to tell you the truth, I like riding on the train, so I guess winter camp will be it for me because I love train riding.
And you're lucky if the train actually goes anymore.
Okay, Linda loves the train ride.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have a train on this side of the state, so unless
I
you go
didn't
to
think
Holland.
so.
Unless you go to Holland, and then you have to go to Detroit, and then you have to go back, you have to go from Holland to Chicago and Chicago back into Michigan. It's crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Have any of you been to Bear Lake Camp? Was Bear
No.
Lake Camp
Oh, yeah.
around when you guys were kids?
This is David, though I have that, but I have heard about it through my local club here in Lake Orion, and they sponsor that camp, and they've done service projects there.
Okay.
That's a nice camp.
Yeah, I was just out there a couple
Really
weeks ago helping with some cabin refurbishing. Don and Judy have their hand up. They'll have to unmute in order to talk.
Yeah, I wanted to say that this is Judy. I wanted to say that Salvation Army, they're not going to have it this year because of lack of interest. They didn't have enough people that cared.
Huh.
So, yeah. And an idea, Dr. Toms comes up there to winter camp, and she's a retired ophthalmologist. And, she'd be glad to do a talk on diseases of the eye if anybody would be interested in that.
I think she was there once before, too.
Say that again. What's her name?
There you go. And Tom's.
Judy.
We have
Judy.
her number.
Just Judy. Hey guys,
Got
just
it.
Judy.
Finally.
Somebody
Yeah.
else is talking.
Okay.
I have to mute him.
Yeah, we have her number if you want us to get back with you later. But she would be glad to do a talk on diseases of the eye.
What was her name?
Susan Toms.
Susan.
THOMS.
Tom. Okay.
So that might be a meeting idea.
Eye diseases. Okay. And we could even get her on here sometime if we wanted.
Oh, sure. Yeah, if anybody would be interested.
Susan,
We
I
could-
like Susan
Oh.
Tom.
He is
glad-
fabulous for this camp. So,
I think, Roger, you have her number, don't you?
yep. And I just let you know, I do. She is on our list that we copy when we send the link out for this call. So I can call her and say, hey, why don't you call in the next time and we'll have you speak to us.
Oh, that'd be great, because I know at Salvation Army, she used to come up every year and do a talk and had a pretty good turnout, so just an idea.
2 years ago when we had camp, she came.
Yes, she did, and she said people didn't really use her that much. She came to volunteer and stuff, and she kind of hung out with me because I was about the only one she knew, but she really would be good to get involved.
All right.
Yeah, that's one thing we talked about after camp, live camp a couple years ago, was making sure that all the volunteers had a job. Because a floating volunteer is an unused volunteer a lot of times. So making sure that if they show up, let's put them to work.
About to go up.
Henrietta, did you have something?
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
You're welcome.
On regular TV on there.
So we got We got Shirley back on the call.
Yay.
Hi, Shirley.
She's the fire tablet.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I
No, I didn't have anything. You had already answered my question.
Okay. We have
Thank
another
you.
one on here too. It's a number that looks familiar to me, but I can't place it. 313-282-0691. Currently muted. So if you want to identify yourself, it's *6. Okay. It's someone we know. I recognize the number, but I can't think of who it is. Well, I think we've done a pretty good job of the first two agenda items, which are things we love or would like to see different about virtual and live camp. And do we have any other topics we want to cover? Otherwise, Roger wants to give an update on the endeavor to set up a Lions Club with winter campers. And so for those who aren't interested, you're welcome to jump off. And our next winter camp chat will be, calendar says, April 16th.
I will not be on winter camp chat April 16th. I will be at a baby's birthday party.
Fine.
So everybody will have, y'all have a good one on the 16th because I will not be there.
Can we party without Gwendolyn?
Sure we can.
Oh, come on. I'm not that popular.
Kathy? Oh, come on, Gwen.
Yes.
This is Phyllis.
Okay, everybody quiet. Everybody stop. Phyllis has a question.
With that being Easter weekend, would that be a good idea?
Well, I don't know. You guys want to party on Easter weekend, or do we want to switch it to the 9th or the?
It's fine with me, but I'm just wondering if anybody else had other plans for that weekend.
Okay.
I'm good.
Kathy.
Yes.
No, that day is
Okay,
fine.
this is Marion Ward. I thought we were having the chat every 2 months, not every other month instead of every month. That's what we
It's every
agreed on.
month. Because if it's every other month, you can't remember which months are on and which months are off. It was easier to do it.
Well, I thought everybody agreed on every other month, though. Every 2 months.
No, we said 1 month.
Well, we're here every month, but you can come whenever you want.
Oh, okay.
So any votes on the 9th versus the 16th?
I'm good either way.
I'm good either way. I don't have anything at the moment on the 16th that I could think of.
Okay.
The
Then let's keep that.
16th is good.
Okay. And let's go ahead and keep it on the 16th.
Okay.
Still at 1 o'clock?
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to bring something up before Roger talks about the Lions Club, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was able to go to the mobility research study again last month, February 22nd. I wasn't expecting to go back so soon, but Dr. Jim wanted me to come back, and I think that it went better this time, and instead of using all the different devices, he just had me focus on using the earphones, and that gave me directions. And before we did the test, and before the other people came to help, he gave me a little more practice than the last time, and that helped a little bit because he said I was turning my head a little too much, and by the end of that practice, he felt like I was getting the hang of it. And he also had me practice, besides veering off to the left and right, like making turns. And then once the other helpers came that help out with the research study, we did 3 routes just in the hallway. We didn't go outside, and we did some varying. I did some varying to the left and right, and some left and right turns. And we did 3 tests. The first 2 were shorter, and the last one was a little longer. And I did pretty good, except I made one mistake. I believe it was on the last route. He said that instead of turning to the left and going in the room, I kept going straight and down a hallway, but it was just probably the way I had the camera facing, because it if you go to one direction a little too much, it will keep telling you the same direction until you get going back the right direction again. But he felt, and I felt that things had went a little better, a lot better than last time, and I felt more comfortable with doing it. And he also had a new way of strapping the football on me, which I felt was helpful as well. He strapped it around my stomach and back instead of pulling it over my left arm, because I had to hold it last time, and after a while it was getting a little heavy. And they also paid for my parking again, and I also got another $100 gift card. And this visit was a little shorter than the last one. I was there for a little over 2 hours instead of 3.5. And he did a little interview with me at the end, like last time, and I told him if there's another opportunity, I'd be willing to participate again.
That's awesome. Thanks for the update.
You're welcome.
This is Rosemary. I just wanted to throw one more thing out there for people, is that the Henry Ford Museum is doing a virtual tour of their glass that they did, kind of continuation of the one they did in November, studio glass, and it's going to be on March 31st. And I sent you the link, Roger, if you want to send that out to people that, they can tune in, and it's usually done very well.
Yes, I will send the link, and we can text it as well. And I may I may tune into that if I'm free, just to see what it's like, to see how they do a virtual tour of a museum.
Yeah, they do it very well. They do a lot of description, and because it's on Zoom, it's also interactive, so people can ask questions if they don't quite understand what the description is.
Okay. Another opportunity to practice your Zoom skills.
Yes.
Okay.
We've had a couple more people join the call, and we've got Kashania Graham, which many of you know. She's one of our campers, and she has a blog. I think, what do you call it, Kashania? It's called Navigating in the Dark, and it's a Facebook kind of a blog, and it's pretty interesting. I subscribe to it, so I read your posts when you do that, Kashania. And let's see, who else has joined the call that we might not have recognized? We still don't know who DANGY FGFYGY FYG. It's a really strange name. Let's see, who else? Marianne Robinson is blind, and she is in the Jackson Cascades Lions Club, and she's on our sort of our committee looking at starting up a virtual club, as well as Cheryl Bradshaw, who is our district GMT, that's Global Membership Team representative. She's on that. So some of you have gotten a call from her. And let's see who else. Susan Radke is on, and I think she's spoken while we're here. So we've got about 28 people actually on the call today, which is really good. Glad you guys could make it. But anyway, I guess we'll transition to the Lions Club thing. And what had come up during winter camp, we had a feature. David Anderson, the former district governor, had talked about benefits of being in a Lions Club, and several others spoke. I think Marianne and David spoke about it, and Rosemarie has spoken about it, Tyrone. So we've basically had some meetings to talk about this, and our approach was to essentially try to call everyone. And I know that everybody has not gotten a call. We've sent texts out. We didn't send emails. We sent texts to a lot of people asking the question, would you be interested in being part of the world's largest service club to help other people and serve, your communities? And so we've gotten probably about 20 responses that said that they were interested to learn more or interested in doing this. So we're kind of it's kind of a process. So today we had talked about doing an informational meeting today, and we can certainly talk about it, but we also were thinking that we might find out when is a good time to do it, so we could have some other representatives come on the call and talk about what the process would be to form a club, what's involved in a club, what the costs are, how is it structured, and just kind of proceed from there. So I see that Marion has her hand up, and what would you like to say, Marion? You'll have to unmute.
Marion's hand has been up since she last spoke.
Okay.
The button wasn't working for me to take it down while she was talking. I see now that I can use the button again, so.
I made you the host again. Okay.
Oh.
So, and a lot of folks on the call today have indicated that they were interested in looking at a Lions Club. Really, it's a way for all of you to kind of, sort of go beyond just being together as a group for winter camp, but to actually put your faith and your hard work into practice to serve your communities in different ways. So a virtual club is basically just like what we're doing now. They meet online, but the difference is you can have more of a meeting structure where you've got like somebody that's moderating the meeting. You've got different officers in the club, such as a secretary and a treasurer, and various functions in the Lions Club. And those of you who are Lions know what those are. So it becomes a more formalized group. Doesn't mean that we can't still have our winter camp chats, and we would probably continue to do those, but the Lions Club would become sort of a separate, another entity that's an extension of winter camp. So with that, what does anybody think? Does anybody have a comment as to this whole process? Faith has her hand up.
Yes, am I on mute?
You are not on mute. You can speak.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, I was hoping that I unmuted myself. Yes, I do have a question. Now, as I indicated to you previously, that I'm the membership chair for the Westland Lions Club. Mm-hmm. And we periodically do fundraisers so that we can send money to different agencies, such as Lead a Dog for the Blind and people that need and things like that. And we collect glasses, we collect hearing devices. And I was wondering if this virtual club, what are we going to be participating in? What are we actually going to be doing other than talking?
Well, and that's kind of an interesting point about a virtual club, is that in some cases, if you had a group of people that were in a particular area that were part of a club, part of a virtual club, you could actually meet together, and do a project. Now it's difficult for Rosemarie and somebody in Detroit to get together to do a project, but Rosemarie and maybe 2 or 3 others, and just like so Rosemarie's in the Muskegon Lions Club over there in Muskegon, and and so they would have projects that they do, and Rosemarie would participate in those. As a virtual club, it's a little different. It would look a little different than what your classical club would be in terms of getting together. Like this morning was an example of a project that my club did. We were part of a recycling project that the city of Battle Creek is doing. So we had about 4 people that went out this morning at 7:30, and we helped collect styrofoam that people brought in to recycle. So we had probably about 20 people out there, and we were collecting styrofoam, bagging it up, putting it in a trailer. Obviously, that's not something that everybody in a virtual club would be doing, but if somebody in your area was doing a project, you could volunteer as part of that. And so the way I've not been part of a virtual club. I'm trying to think. We have one of our, in fact, the person that's going to be our district governor next year is the president of a virtual club in Jackson. And so they actually do meet together, but then they have people that are part of their club that are not physically present. They're wherever they are, and they zoom into the meeting. So, those are the kind of things that we would talk about, a little more detail as to how does a virtual club serve, their community when they're a virtual club.
And sometimes by using some social media, that's maybe a way to help raise funds for the different things that we, would want to do. Maybe could do something on Facebook or, some of those kinds of things too. I'm not real good at Facebook, but if there's somebody who is, that might be an option.
So one of the things that in fact, what we called when we asked the question, because you can only be a member of one Lions Club, but you can be an affiliate of another Lions Club. So, like for instance, several of the folks that are winter campers are part of a Lions Club. They could be an associate of this Lions Club and still do projects and those sorts of things, but they couldn't be an officer in that Lions Club. So the Lions Club have rules about how you can do certain things, but in other ways they're pretty flexible about stuff.
Yeah.
So let's see. Gina has a question or a comment.
Roger?
You want to unmute? Yes, Phyllis.
I belong, well, I'm not at this time, but I did. I belong to the Lions Club for the Mission Council, the American Council of the Blind and Visually Impaired. And they meet once a month, and each member, if they don't have to be a member of another Lions Club, but they meet together once a month, and they discuss what their clubs are doing and what other ideals they can get to do. But then they do meet once a year at their convention, but we pay $15 per year to be of this group. But like at that time, I was a member of that group, plus I was a member of the Port Huron Host Lions Club. But it gives different people's ideals what their clubs could be probably doing too. It's, we do it all on phone and on Zoom.
Right.
And it works out pretty good.
There was well, during COVID, there were a lot of clubs that did not meet, but there were a lot of clubs that did meet, and they actually started doing a lot of fundraisers over social media to raise money for the different projects that they support. So one of the things, basically the idea behind Lions is that we serve. That's our motto. And so, everybody, there's a lot of ways to serve, and they do have specific areas that they kind of concentrate on. And a big one is sight, obviously, sight preservation, diabetes prevention, the environment. That's kind of what we were doing this morning, was the environment by recycling, childhood cancer, and then hunger relief. So, and then there's lots of other ways that people serve, but within those areas, clubs will have different projects to support those general kind of areas. Like in the district, we have there's a couple of different groups that do childhood cancer support. Okay, and so we're not going to cure cancer, but what we can do as Lions is help those who are going through cancer treatments. So like one of the projects that people do is they make jewelry. So they get together and they string fancy beads together to make necklaces and bracelets and those sorts of things for the kids who are undergoing cancer treatments. Another one involved hats, because when you're doing chemotherapy, and heaven forbid if any of you have had cancer and had to go through this, but typically you lose hair. And so a lot of these kids really, they've lost their hair because of their chemo treatments. And so they were collecting yarn for a group of prisoners down in Coldwater to make hats for these kids that are undergoing chemotherapy treatments. And so then, so there's lots of different ways, and a lot of thinking out of the box, especially when it comes to a virtual club, how you can serve as a group. So one of the things that I was thinking of was that if you had a Lions Club in your area, you could serve with them. If you knew of a project that they were working on that you could help with. So like Don is a member of the Hazel Park Lions Club. And so he goes out with his club and helps collect money for White Cane. And I don't know if he sells candy or not, but so you can definitely participate and serve, even if it's not, with all the rest of the people that are in your particular club. So that's one of the things we encourage clubs around our area to do, is to do things together. So if a club has just a few members and they have a project and they need some help with that, other folks can jump in and help them with that project and help them be successful. So those are kind of the things that can be done. Faith, are you wanting to say something again?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't. Oh, should I? 9. Star 9. Can I close it?
I just lowered it for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So, and Gina.
Okay, I'm quicker this time. So you answered the first part of my question about having Lions locations in your area. So the second one is, if you are a part of the virtual Lions Club, are you automatically able to go and participate with one of your local Lions Club affiliates, or do you need to be a member of the local as well?
No,
If you're already the member of a, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Who? Go ahead, B.
If you're already a member of a local club, you can be an associate member of the virtual club.
Vice
If you
versa,
are-
the other way. Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
No, in reverse, if I started with the virtual, how do I participate with my local? Or
The
do I
same way
need to
you
participate?
join a local club as an affiliate.
So basically you'd be an associate to them.
Or associate.
So it does, a club is a club. It doesn't matter whether it's a virtual club or a traditional club. A club is a club, and you would have your primary club, and then you could be affiliated with a second club. Does that make sense?
Okay.
It wouldn't.
Yes. It
You
doesn't
wouldn't have
matter
to
if I
do
started
it
virtual
separately.
or local.
Right. Clubs can
First.
participate in projects, joint projects, regardless of whether they're a traditional club or a virtual club. Lions should work together.
Yeah, let me,
Okay.
I think the way I heard her talk, our club and all clubs I know, we have projects and we take helpers from, you don't have to be a Lion. If you want to help and serve, come with us, and that's how we talk you into being a Lion. But you can serve with us anytime you want.
Yeah, we have associate members in our club that help us out with our pancake breakfasts and things that we do. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Okay, Don?
Yeah, I remember we discussed this once before, and there was they said that in June, if you became a virtual Lion, you would have to pay the same dues like you would if you were a member of a Lions Club. And of course, I know the Lions Club that I belong to, our dues are, based on what we pay for the Lions, for our local Lions Club, but also for the National Lions Club. So it's basically $71. And so I guess my question would be the virtual Lions, would they be required to pay the same dues? And could they maybe do it on a time arrangement, or like we have to do with our Lions, we have to pay the whole dues all at once?
Again, a club is a club. So a virtual club pays the same dues as a traditional club. And some clubs choose to collect dues once a year, which means it has to be paid to international. So it has to be collected from the members. So optimally dues are due before July 1st so that it can be paid in a timely fashion. Some clubs allow it to be billed twice a year. So then you can pay half in June and half in December. But that's up to the individual club as to how often a year it gets billed.
Right.
But dues are dues, whether it's traditional or virtual.
Because Kathy, in our club, we bill twice a year.
Yeah, my club bills twice a year, and then sometimes we don't realize we missed the December until it's February.
The treasurer will let you know.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I raised my hand again. Now, you're saying that now our dues per year, they're $80. Now, are you saying that it's going to cost $80 to become a member of the virtual club, or are they going to set a fee for us?
Okay, so
Only
$71 now.
You only pay once. You would only pay to your primary club. If you are affiliated or associated with, there's a difference. Those are actually technical terms in Lions membership, affiliate and associate, and we're not going to define them today because I don't remember which is which. But if you're you only pay dues to your primary club. If you are adjacent to another club, then you are a line item, but you are not a billable line item on that second club.
Right.
Would the virtual club be able to function? Would they be able to manage without us paying some fees? Are they going to be able to operate at all?
Well, if the virtual club is a member's primary club, then yeah, we'd have to figure out a dues structure.
So every club, when it comes to dues, part of it is like set in stone. So like there's Lions Club International dues, Lions of Michigan dues, and then a district dues. Okay, so if the club is sponsored, say out of this district, District 11B1, they have a certain amount of dues that they charge every year. So roughly it's about $70. It's going to maybe go up over next year sometime, but right now it's say roughly $70. A club then can decide that they want to charge their members local dues. So that would be whatever is above that. So like in the case of somebody mentioned $80. So
I'm $80.
If it's $70, then the local club is asking for $10 for each member for dues. So the question, so as Kathy said, your primary club. So Faith, you're currently a member of a Lions Club?
Yes, I'm a member of the Westland Lions Club. Yes.
All right. So you pay.
And our dues a year is $80 a year.
Right. So you pay.
Wait, I see what you're asking. You're asking if the club can function based on, because you've got several people who are associate members and you've got people who would be members. I think I don't think it really matters. I think it can function as long as you've got people that are willing to serve, whether they're primary or secondary members of the virtual club.
You wouldn't have a set fee for everyone. That's my question. Do
Well,
you have a set fee and how much it's going to be? Because
usually-
it is a
usually-
Lions Club. And you should,
Only for the members, not for the associates.
So if you were to switch your membership from Westland to the virtual club, your dues would probably remain the same.
I got you. I have you. Okay.
Each
So
club
even
decides
though
what kind of dues.
there's like the $70 that is the base charge to be in a Lions Club, and then if the local club charges additional, that's what brings it up to 80. And that $10 difference, that goes into the administrative pot. So if the club has a member who's having trouble paying for something, you can kind of do a little sponsorship for another member within your club. It also gives you a little bit of wiggle room if someone drops their membership, but you still had to pay for them because it was after the cutoff deadline. So it's nice to have a little bit of money in the administrative fund. So that extra $10 helps to fill the pool a little bit.
I see. I'm not concerned about the Westland Club. I'm concerned about the virtual club. I want to become a member. So what are my responsibilities? Am I to pay dues? Am I not to pay dues just because I belong to another club? If both clubs are operating, it seems as though if you don't charge anything but $5 or $10, now that's just my thought. Okay.
It really comes down to whether you join as a secondary member to the virtual club, or if you switch and make the virtual club your primary, but you would only pay one dues.
Kathy, this is Phyllis again.
Yeah.
I belong to the Lions District D2, and we paid $75 a year. Plus, I'm on the other Lions Club for the virtual, and then we paid $15 on that one. So
okay, so they might be charging a nominal fee just to help cover some administrative costs. Okay.
Right.
It will depend upon how the virtual club decides to do its dues structure.
Yeah.
So that'll depend on if they're saying associate members maybe have to pay $10 to belong as an associate member, then that's what you would pay if you belong to another Lions Club, and you would pay your usual dues to your regular Lions Club.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
And our
This
club
is Linda.
actually-
I would be interested in joining, but I've got to go now because I've got transportation coming. So everybody take care.
Okay, Linda, take care.
Linda.
Bye.
Thank you.
1248905.
Our club, I just want to say something more about dues. Our club actually allows people to pay on a quarterly basis. So our, I mean, it's good if you can pay it all at once, but we also allow people to pay either like twice a year or 4 times a year.
Yep.
That keeps your treasurer busy.
Which helps spread it out. It is a little bit more work for the treasurer to, to kind of sort that out. But you also have to have some money to be able to cover, because I think Lions Club International bills twice a year. And that's
Yes, they do. Yeah.
That's when they send their bill. So you have to be able to cover that member if they're not paying on a biannual basis. So we kind of encourage people to do it on a biannual basis at least. And then, if they can't, then we stretch it out for them. So.
One other thought about the club that we need for the virtual club, we need 20 members who are full members to register with Lions. And the rest can be associate members. We need 20 full members for officers and a charter with Lions International.
Or if you become a branch club, you'd need just 5.
Okay, you can do a branch club too, right?
There are 2 options. One is to be a full club, which is 20 to charter, and then a branch club can be as few as 5. And there's some differences in how they're administrated. but it's a way to get started, and then that branch club could then become, if they get enough members, then they could become their own club. You know,
Aren't we getting off the beaten path here? We're talking about, the question was asked, people who belong to a club now, they would either have to quit their club and join the virtual club, or just be an associate member of the club. We're talking about people who are not Lions. We want to be a Lion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
Well,
And
I
so
would, oh,
either
I'm
way,
sorry.
you need 20. If you're going to be a full club, you need 20. You need 20 primary members that are going to charter.
Right.
And if
Well,
you're
I would,
already a Lion,
I
you
would hope that some, oh, I'm sorry, I keep butting in. Can you?
Go ahead, Faith,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. You just got to jump right in
Okay.
there apparently today.
Linda Brown is very interested in becoming a member. She does not belong. So if someone could call her from the virtual club, I think you have a new member right there.
Well, she's definitely on our list.
Okay, well, keep in touch with her because I've spoken with her about it. And she lives in Southfield, and they really don't have a club in Southfield. And when I talked to her about the virtual club, she said, I'll think about it. So help her to think positive.
Okay. All right. So that's kind of the, I guess, the basic situation, the basic idea of it and how we would have to move forward. So there, like I say, two options. One is a branch club. If we have 20 people that really want to do it, like a Linda Brown, then we could go ahead and charter a whole virtual club. And then those folks then can decide, okay, how do we want to do this? And so there's really probably more information that you would want, maybe some other ideas as to how to serve, how you
raise funds.
What are the guidelines on structuring a club that you'd want to talk about, as you move through that process. But I kind of at this point, we're kind of at the point of saying, okay, who's interested? And then we can move ahead with, more information, to.
I know when you sent out the text message, I know I put I was interested because like even down here in Pontiac, I mean, I don't know if I exactly belong to the Lions Club here in Pontiac, but I do participate in the events and stuff when available. So I know I would be interested, just pretty much tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it.
One of the things we talked about our group, so the group that we have been meeting to talk about this is Rosemary, Cheryl Robinson, Marianne Robinson, Cheryl Bradshaw, sorry, Marianne Robinson, and Tyrone, and David Anderson, and Kelly Luby, myself. And so one of the things that had, and B. Furman, sorry. Yeah, B. Furman. So one of the things we had talked about was that one of the disadvantages with Lions is that they're not very visually accessible, a lot of the things. So we would actually need to have some sighted people probably to perform some of the functions, like being a secretary would be difficult for a totally blind person. But however, Rosemarie is probably a secretary in her club, right?
I've worked with the secretary in our club and he helped me figure out some things, but it's not easy.
Right. So,
virtual acceptable.
So we would probably need to have, some people who have are sighted to help out with, just to kind of get things started and make sure everybody knows how to do things. That's, so if you have family or friends, that might be interested in joining with you, that'd be another option to think about. That they could, just kind of like winter camp, when we have a sighted guide, that would be possibly helpful. Now, I don't know if there are clubs. I know that, many clubs have visually impaired and blind members. I'm not sure if there are clubs that are like specifically visually impaired or blind.
I don't think so.
So,
No, I don't think so either.
yeah. So Faith, you've got your hand up.
No, I thought I
Okay.
thought I cut it down.
Star
Okay.
9.
Okay. Donna.
I did a
Donna-
star 9 again, but it didn't do it. Okay.
Donna Judy.
Yes. Well, you not only have to have a probably a sighted person for secretary, but I think you might need one as a treasurer so that they could, send their dues checks to that person.
Right.
Maybe
I would imagine.
Roger,
Yes.
this is Phyllis again. On the club of the American Council of the Blind, the secretary and the treasurer both are blind.
Okay.
Right,
This
but
is-
that's a council for the blind. The problem is that the website for Lions International is virtually inaccessible. And the secretary for a Lions Club has to access that website a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not just inaccessible for people with visual impairments. Sometimes it's inaccessible for the average person. So it's good to have partnerships. So if you have someone who's good with secretarial skills, keeping meeting minutes and keeping things in order, paired with someone who is a little more technical savvy, who's a little more forgiving of uncomfortable websites, things like that. And so it's always good to also pair a sighted and an unsighted person so that you teach them what it's like to be the other person. Like many years ago, Kyle Austin was teaching a class when I was over in District 11C1, and Kyle was teaching a class on what it's like to be blind or how people interact with people with visual impairments. Like you don't just walk up and grab their elbow and say, come this way.
Yeah, exactly.
You say, would you like an elbow? And you let them accept or decline, and some of these are just little courtesies that would be nice even between regular sighted people. Like the woman with the pregnant belly, you don't just walk up and touch her belly and go, oh baby. No, you say, can I? And you accept the no when she says, no, don't touch my body, and there's some of these courtesies that sighted people tend to overlook. But if you verbalize it, then you bridge that gap between sighted people or sighted and visual impaired. Sorry, I went off on that one a little bit.
Unless, in the treasurer, unless you have to actually enter things on the website, a person with visual impairment could do the treasurer office. It depends on, what the interaction is for the international website as to the different offices and how you have to interact with it.
Right. And so maybe you have someone like a pair of treasurers, the one who does the monthly financial report and, turns the bank statement into something that the average person can understand, and the one who receives the checks and does the data input into international. So
I just wish international would get on the ball and make their sites accessible.
Well, I wish certain people in my district who like to post cute little pictures with inspirational phrases would actually type that inspirational phrase into the text rather than just simply sharing a picture.
Yep, that would be nice.
But wishing doesn't make it happen.
I was one of the things. So one of the campers, she's not on today, Carrie Bradley, had called and said that she was interested in what do Lions do? What are Lions all about? She goes, I've been around the Lions and, the Lions clubs, but what do they really do? And so I had typed some things out for her. But David Anderson actually put together kind of a nice list of that I can email out to everyone. There's a couple of pictures on it, which I'll remove, but some different links and things like that. But one of the things that he mentioned, the first statement was, an opportunity to give back rather than take. And he mentioned this has come up on several of the calls, being a driving force for current Lions that are blind or low vision. they've mentioned the stereotype of blind people only taking from society and their desire to challenge that ideation. So, having a group of blind and visually impaired Lions kind of creates a force of folks who could, do that. Like, hey, let's, just like you're talking about the accessibility. Cheris Austin, who some of you probably know, I am on the site conservation committee for the state. And one of the things that we do is we have a scholarship program for blind and visually impaired students. So they send an application out they make up an application that people can use to apply for this scholarship. And it's like a $3,000 scholarship, and they give away 3 of them. And Cheris, I sent it out, and Cheris sent me a note back and said, why do they keep sending out this application that's inaccessible for a blind person? And so it's kind of like, here is an organization that is trying to help the blind and visually impaired and preserve sight, and yet our paperwork that goes out is not accessible for a blind person. So those are the kind of things that we need people voices to say, hey, we need to change this. And so if you have a group of people who are part of the organization that keep screaming about this, maybe it'll change. And I wanted to let you know that tomorrow I'm going to be talking with a fellow who he was a Lion in Albion, Michigan, and he's not a Lion currently, and he asked about membership, but he is basically his field of expertise is accessibility, and he works with the Massachusetts Institute of the Blind to help them with their accessibility endeavors. And so when I mentioned that we were thinking about starting a Lions Club with blind and visually impaired people, he was pretty excited about it, and said, well, maybe I can help push the accessibility issue with using my expertise. So
cool.
Kind of excited to talk to him tomorrow and see what he has to say and how he might fit with us. But he would be like a perfect kind of person to have as part of this group to and to help further the effort to make Lions and life more accessible. And I know a lot of folks associated with our group are doing that, like what's her name, Simmons, Serena Simmons, Kashania. I know you're an advocate, a big advocate, Rosemarie, and many of you others. Marianne Robinson is the president of her Lions Club, as is B. Furman. So being blind is not necessarily a roadblock to being involved in an organization like this, but there are some functions that are difficult to perform, if you don't have sight. So I think that would be a great purpose for this, virtual Lions Club, is to push the envelope on accessibility.
Yes.
So Roger, is this a good time to say, when would people like to hear more or discuss it further?
It would be. I've talked enough.
Because we're pushing 2:45, 3 o'clock. Maybe wrap up today and schedule a follow-up information meeting or sign up or whatever.
So we still have a few calls to make to see if people are interested, but we have, we kind of already have a pretty good list of folks who have expressed an interest. And for those still on the phone, what's a good kind of day to do this? Something like this is like a Saturday a good time to do it? Or
Saturdays works good for me.
Would weekdays be?
It's also good for me, but not first Saturday, because I'm involved with another meeting on each first Saturday of the month.
Okay.
So any other Saturday would be fine.
What about piggybacking again after the winter camp chat?
We do that, unless we wanted to do it sooner.
If we want to do it in evening, that might also work.
Is there an evening that works good for people?
I like 1 o'clock.
That's
Well,
not an
sometimes
evening time.
sometimes I have appointments and things that, during the day that, make it difficult, except on, like on Saturdays, I have to avoid the, pretty much the fourth Saturday of the month, because I have other meetings and stuff,
I don't really have any particular things going on. Usually I'm pretty much free. But with, like we said, with the 16th, I know I'll be busy that day. So, anytime on a Saturday is usually good for me. Because during the week I've got a lot of appointments and stuff going on.
Wednesdays for me usually is pretty open for the most part, but mostly toward like late, in the afternoon or early evening, because a lot of times I have stuff like belong to the paratransit, thing, and they do a Tuesday evenings thing, and I belong to a Michigan Council of the Blind, and we have a phone chapter, and we have social meetings the third, a Monday of the month at 7. So, and I'm involved in a lot of other things during the week. So it's kind of Saturday afternoon usually isn't too bad, but
So what if we thought about like Saturday, the 9th of April? I know we kind of talked about maybe that'd be the winter camp chat, but maybe we can move the chat up to the 23rd.
I'm busy on the 23rd. But that's okay. You can have it without me.
No, we don't want to do it on 23rd.
I thought we decided the winter's camp was the 16th.
16th, yeah.
16th is Easter weekend, so there was a request to change it.
But I didn't
Oh,
hear
no,
any
that's right.
support
You're
for that.
right. We didn't change it. It's still the
No.
Right.
Oh.
We're not changing it. You guys are keeping it on the 16th.
Yeah,
If
that's
somebody
fine.
can- if
Let's do
someone
it
would
on the
give-
9th. Let's do it on the 9th. 9th is good.
So if we did and this would be an informational meeting, a more in-depth informational meeting that we would do with the folks that are interested in becoming Lions or even associated with the Lions. If you're in another club and you want to have input, that would be the 9th of April.
Okay.
That making
All
sense?
right, the 9th, that would work for me for an informational meeting.
At
That
1
would be
p.m.?
good.
That's not the first Saturday. Not the first Saturday or the
Hello?
I think the 9th would better consideration.
Can you hear me?
Somebody's got something going on.
Shania, your TV is really loud.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
No, that's not me.
I usually have the my chapter meeting on third Saturday, so I'm kind of having a meeting with them and you at the same time. So, and it's usually at the same time that you all meet at 1. So I was usually from the technology hours, usually the first hour, and then the meeting starts at 1. So actually,
do you want to do it like at 10 in the morning on the 9th?
It's usually the third Saturday, so it's like every third Saturday of the month. So whatever, as long as it's not on the third Saturday, I don't know if that's a good Saturday for you all. But the third Saturday is not usually a good Saturday for me. So the 9th is good.
is what, the second Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's
So
the
as long
first
as it's not
Saturday.
as long as it's not the third Saturday, that's all I was saying. As long as it's not the third Saturday, that's good. Because actually myself and Pauline is on that, because I'm the vice president. Pauline is like the secretary. So me and Pauline have to miss it.
I think the 9th of April would be better than the 16th.
I think so too. The 9th is good for me too.
Because the 16th, you're right between Good Friday and Easter, and there's a lot of people that are involved in religious activities and so forth. So the 9th, I think, would be a much better consideration, much better date.
And maybe for both the winter camp chat and the informational meeting, maybe move both those to the 9th.
Okay, sounds like the 9th is it.
Okay.
I think we should do it for both because, if somebody has something on the third Saturday that's interfering with them being able to participate in the winter camp thing, it's
Right.
better to do it on the second Saturday then.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty sure I'm good with that.
All right. Sounds
one
good.
One thing I was going to mention, and this is kind of a timing situation for the Lions because they're interested in, people becoming Lions, there normally is a $35 entry fee, that they ask people.
Roger, can you mute Kashania?
Yes, please. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, so there's normally a $35 entry fee or application fee with the Lions Club. Until the end of June, the $35 fee is waived.
If we charter before the end of June, we don't have to pay a fee.
You have to pay that $35 fee. And I think that the way they would do this is if you joined before the end of June, you would only have to pay like $15 or something like that. That would be the prorated dues, for the rest of the year if we join, depending on when we join. It kind of gets prorated based on when you join. So, if you joined the last month, like in June, if you got the charter, then the dues would be like 1 month's worth, but then you have to think about that, okay, starting July, the club would get billed for a year's worth or a half a year's worth or whatever. So, and those are just some things to think about, that it's not going to be much, for during this year from now till June 30th.
Then start up. Yeah.
But then the dues would then start after July 1st. So those are just to give you a little bit of timing, and budgeting thoughts there, if you are going to charter with a standard club. So, but we can.
Those are some more things we can talk about at the informational meeting, right?
We can lay that more out, right? We can lay it out in a little more formal fashion, because I wasn't necessarily prepared to talk. As you can tell, I sort of rambled a little bit today. So, but I appreciate all the feedback everybody has and questions that everybody has brought up today. It's very good questions, and it's a commitment. It's a commitment to do this, and so, but the world needs all the help it can get, and the more hands we have serving, the better off we'll all be.
Yep.
So,
Roger, one suggestion, and that is sending out an email about the next meetings and asking people to indicate if they think they might want to keep their membership in a local club, or be primary club in the virtual club, and also ask how many people are already members of clubs, and see what the feelings are that way. Because just going through the attendance sheet here, and the people have indicated, I found quite a few people in our winter camp who are already members of Lions in various places around the state. I was impressed by the numbers. I don't have them in front of me right now. I'm trying to enter them in my computer, but we have quite a few people who are already members. Yep. So ask the question if they're already members, and if the preference would be to keep the membership in a local club and just be an associate member in the virtual club.
Right.
Can I say something?
Sure.
This is Faith. You're saying associate members. Now, I feel that if I'm going to be a member, I want to be an associate member, that I feel that I need to be responsible to pay something, even if it's maybe $15 or $20 a year. That's not that much. You know what I'm saying? Right. But to be dedicated, I'm just a believer that I should give something towards the dues.
Right.
That's just me. Now,
and again, that's
might
something that can be
different.
decided at the meeting that we do to form this.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm just one person, so it should be discussed with other people.
Right. So the club, the Lions Club has a saying called "Your Club, Your Way."
Yep.
And that basically means that you can organize your club, pretty much the way you want to within the guidelines that Lion hands out, which are relatively flexible in certain ways. So, you can charge, our clubs in our area here, they all have a different due structure in terms of what they charge for their local dues. And so like the Lions Club dues, the state and the district are all the same, but then, it might range from $75 to $150 or something like that. So it's all what the club decides, and it's what the club needs to kind of operate. That's kind of what the local dues are about, is how do you operate the club? A virtual club doesn't have a lot of overhead. You know, you don't necessarily have banners and bells, and I mean you could, but
and rent and
it can be pretty flexible that way. And there's a lot of younger people who are joining. There's actually a virtual club that covers the whole United States, and it's and so all those people, they do service in their local area. So, and then they get together and talk about it, and then when they report the service, that goes to credit their club with the service. So, the whatever club it is, they get say they did raise this much money or they did this much service, and it all kind of helps, with the Lions Club effort to be a service organization. So, yeah. So the 9th of April, we will get together again, and we'll have a chat, and then we'll also have a more thorough informational meeting. And if you have questions, I will send out the list of things that David sent me, and I'll try to look at it and maybe take some things out that may not be necessarily pertinent or relevant, but I think it's all relevant in terms of the benefits of being a Lion. And for me personally, it's like the satisfaction I get from helping others, really. And but there's like a lot of leadership opportunities within Lions. The big thing with the Lions is the accessibility. So, if we could help change that, that would be a huge service to perform. Anybody else have anything that they'd like to say before we close out today?
Yeah, this is Henrietta. What April the 9th, what time would that be?
1 p.m.
1 p.m.
At 1? Okay, thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Roger, at Christmas time, this is Margaret.
Yep.
At Christmas time, we had a member that had a Santa Claus suit. And on a Saturday, previous to this Saturday, we purchased coloring books, crayons, little treats, and at our Cass County Library, we had Santa Claus there and gave out these gifts to children that came in to the library.
okay, but
Which
still,
was a
those
fun day.
are things that we can bring up, as a group once we form our club.
Sure.
So anyway, I am so happy that so many people actually had expressed an interest in becoming Lions. That's I think this group could do a lot of good.
And it doesn't have to be limited to winter camp people, friends, family,
Right.
acquaintances.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
One other thought is might in our actual winter camp time have a block of time for the virtual camp Lions meeting at the winter camp.
Yep, that would work well too.
Mm-hmm.
That could be like Phyllis talks about the American Council of the Blind.
Yeah.
Getting together once a year, to kind of be all together,
Exactly.
And we could come up with a service project,
Yeah.
that we could all do, maybe make jewelry for the cancer kids,
or fleece blankets. The knotted fleece blankets are pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
But that's all for
the future, guys.
Yeah.
So
It's all for the future.
So anyway, well, thanks everybody. We did record the meeting, so we'll make a recording and we can send that out to everybody, so people can hear what was said. And again, thanks very much. And I hope your brackets are doing well if you're basketball.
No, no basketball.
Mr. Bossy.
Yes.
Thanks
Mr. Bossy.
everybody.
I
Take
want
care,
to say
everybody.
boo to Purdue and yay for Michigan.
Yes, Margaret. Yes, yay for Michigan. I don't know if they play this afternoon.
Thanks to everybody.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Blessings, everybody.
Bye.